So, how are we going to start this?
I don't know.
So, I reckon we talk about how much we, when we started out, like how much we did price ourselves at, because I feel like everyone always starts off very, very low. It's a thing, isn't it?
Yeah. So, I was doing client work. I've done like odd jobs for people for years and years and years, really. Just like do like a portrait or like a paint, because like I said, I was a painter. I was doing like paintings for people or things like that. And I priced myself super, super cheap. I didn't really know how to price myself because...
Well, you don't. There's nothing out there on the internet that says this is how much you should price.
And there might be, but you have to actively like really, really in-depth search for it, and it's a very it's like art is a subjective thing, and pricing yourself seems to be really subjective as well, and it all depends on like experience and stuff, but we'll get into that. But so I, for example, when I first started, I was doing portrait paintings for like 30 quid, and it took me hours.
Like an actual painting?
Yeah, like an actual painting for like 30 quid. And then when I started doing more like digital work was when I was in doing my placement, and then I would do like logos and things like that. But my first 4 logos I did for free.
That's pretty standard, I think.
For family members. I was
nice.
like, I've never done this before, can I just do you a logo? And then they was like, yeah, that's fine. But I did the logos for free, and then when I started charging, I think I was charging maybe like £15-20 a logo. I must see, this is it. I must add, when I say that I was doing logos, but I was just sending them one JPEG file. Because I was doing it a lot for nail technicians who just wanted a logo for their Instagram. Like it weren't
like a website. They didn't need like the vector file.
And they didn't have like salons or anything like that, so they didn't need like signage. Most of them were mobile nail techs that just wanted an Instagram logo. So that's what we're charging, maybe like 30. I think the most I charged at that point was maybe like 60 quid, and that was because it was like an in-depth like
just like a drawing
of a hand with stuff
it wasn't
around
just text
it
and stuff.
And it's almost like because I can't remember who I was having this discussion with. I was because I've been doing my portfolio, and obviously I've lost all of my, hate to bring it up again, lost all my external hard drive.
Do you know what? I'm sorry, boy, it's traumatic. I get you.
It was just trauma. For a little period of time, I was using Dropbox, and I logged into my Dropbox, and I've got a load of like JPEGs there, but none of the like the AI files or anything like that. Yeah, so because I've been looking into doing my portfolio and stuff, I was like, there's some projects that I've got like JPEGs for that I'm not saying I'm not proud of them, but I'm not proud of them.
Well, it's when you're starting out, you've not learned all the tricks of the trade and like how to make it amazing yet.
Yeah, and I'm like looking at them, I'm like, oh, I would have done that different now, which I think is completely natural, but I
think that shows that that's a good thing.
Yeah, and so I was like, it's great if I had every single client work thing that I've ever done. Yeah, so I've worked with like over 50 businesses in maybe like the 2-3 years that I've been doing
this. That's so good,
But a lot of them at the beginning were, like I said, not projects that I really want to showcase necessarily, because A, I feel like I could do better now, and B, it's just not my vibe anymore.
And I do feel like maybe that's... I mean, obviously, we want to say to everybody, price what you're worth, but I'm not saying that it's okay to charge so little, but maybe it is a little bit if you've not really got the experience.
Yeah, and I think...
And now, I feel like the difference between your work now and then shows why you should be charging more.
Yeah, and I think the more open you are about how you charge yourself and what you charge, the better the discussion will be, if you are comfortable. Because then if you're like friends with a graphic designer and they're like, right, okay, they charge X amount for this thing, but also they have been doing this for 10 years or they've been doing it for 6 months, you can kind of like vary like what industry standard is.
Yeah.
When me and Laura were planning this episode, we wanted to explain that like it's all right for us to sit here and be like, oh, charge more, you need to be charging all these amounts. But if you're not comfortable doing that, or if you've been doing it for 3 weeks, obviously don't charge
what you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
And yeah. That's the main
this is
thing.
it.
Just whatever you're comfortable with, you should charge.
It
But
is.
please, I don't
It's
know.
tricky, so it's charge what you're comfortable with, but also know your worth as a creative and know what value you bring to the table. I think that's it. I think because a lot of people see design things as hobbies or being like, oh, I could do that. I could get Procreate and do that.
No.
But then when they actually start doing it, they realise
You've got to
it
have
just
skill.
Yeah, it doesn't look that great because you aren't creatively inclined and you don't know about compositions and like the way to
And
pair
colour
colours
and...
yeah, I think that's it. I think that's... I just wanted to do a lot of disclaimers at the beginning because I didn't want us to sit here and for you to think, oh, they're preaching at us, they're making us do this. But we just want you to know that... No, do some really really great soul searching to realise like how valuable you are and then price yourself from there. Because people have paid millions and millions of pounds for logos, so you can never think that you're overcharging.
Never. So I don't know, because I do feel like you need to charge. You're naturally going to charge less when you first start out, and that's absolutely fine. But I look back at what I used to charge, and I still think that was definitely too low, even for just starting out. Because obviously we've got an education background. Like I had a design job for 2 years, and I've obviously got a degree, and I still charge like £10 for an illustration. Yeah. And it's fair. It's good to charge yourself low to start with so that you can get the experience, but I just still think that was maybe too low. I shouldn't have done that low. But I was on Fiverr, so everybody prices low on there, and it was... I feel like maybe we might do a full episode on how to get into the industry and like what to avoid and what to do and what people go down, like which paths people go down. But Fiverr was just awful. I feel like people go on there and they know because everyone's charging so low on there. I think on Fiverr they ask you to do it in dollars. So I started charging $20 for an illustration, and it'd be whatever they wanted. And then after that, they take 20% off for them. And then PayPal would take a percentage off because I got paid through PayPal. And in the end, pounds-wise, it was like £10 for an illustration. And sometimes I'd spend hours on them because like they'd come back and say, no, that's not right. And because the kind of customers that go on Fiverr expect everything for such a small amount, they treat you like I had so many people were really lovely, and I had clients after that like who I met on there that were great, and I ended up obviously charging more. But a lot of the customers on there were terrible, and yeah, I feel like when you price yourself low, you sort of sometimes customers like that gravitate towards you. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, whereas, I don't know about you, but I've found that when I've started pricing myself higher, I get customers and clients that know that they're paying for quality and that trust me. Do you know what I mean?
That's it. I think we mentioned it last episode on Dude Lexi's podcast app about when I started charging more, my clientele shifted. I'd purposely priced myself out of some people's budgets, which is also... don't feel bad for doing, because some people, I think it's okay, something that I've learned is not everybody will be able to afford you, and that's okay. There are people who, because I think not necessarily like every single time, but with majority of design work and majority of designers, you pay for what you get.
Oh yeah, 100%. And like it's like, I mean, even outside of design, like if you're looking for a builder and there's one builder that's charging £1,000 and another builder that's charging 500, a lot of people would go to the £1,000 one because they know that they can trust them. And then on the other side, some people will go for the £500 one just because they want it cheaper. And you're not paying for, you know, I know exactly what you mean. I don't know what I'm saying now.
Yeah, but but it's not always the case. Like I know some designers that I've spoken to and I've been like, raise your rates, girl. Like you're incredible. Like
yeah,
I can't believe how. But then this is it. It's then it's that narrative of me being like, oh my God, you should raise your rates. And it's like, yeah, but who am I to tell her to raise her rates? But whenever I say
it's a positive thing.
I say it from a point of love and light, of being like, you're undercharging. Like, I think you should. But then there's some other people who don't charge much, and I'm like, yeah, fair enough. Like, you're just starting out. Like, you do you, hon. But yeah, I think, like I said, I'm prefacing this from I've been doing freelance stuff since 2019. Oh my God, 2019? No, I haven't. Yeah, I think 2019 I've been doing it. So I've been doing it longer.
Same for me as well, 2019.
Yeah, so
oh my God. Oh, well, I was the end of 2019, so I'm like just over 2.
Yeah,
so
maybe me the same. But I think because of lockdown and COVID and stuff, I think it kind of propelled us forward, because there were so many businesses that were starting that I had in the 2 years that was happening.
People were doing their own thing, weren't they?
People were doing their own thing, yeah. So I had a lot of experience doing that, and I've worked with so many different types of companies. I've worked with so many different types of projects that I feel like I have a good knowledge on things like that.
So now you can price yourself higher.
And then when I do get my massive client, when these big companies start coming to me and asking for jobs, then I can price myself higher than that.
Manifest it and all that.